Hi, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, Fantastic Four Grand Design, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, and GoBots. This caught my eye, so I thought I'd do a video and share it with all of you. So yeah, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I wanted Devastator. I think I had like two of them, two of the Constructicons. The plan was to eventually get all of them, but I just never did. And then every so often, every maybe 5 to 10 years, Walmart or Target or somebody will come out with one of these sort of exclusives where they package all the Constructicons together and you can get sort of like a classic Devastator. And I sort of passed them up, but when I saw this one, I was like, okay, I got to get this. So I have the nostalgia for Devastator from my childhood. I sort of doubled down on that when I worked on Transformers vs. G.I. Joe and got to feature Devastator in a really interesting and fun way. So my fondness for these characters have only grown as a result of working on that series. I had an opportunity to get like the full set of Constructicons to form Devastator, and that was a fun idea. Like as a kid, I liked the idea of these toy robots that you could all put together and make one big robot, but I just never managed in childhood to complete a set. I had one Voltron Lion, I had 2 Constructicons, so I just never managed to get that together, and it was sort of some unfinished business that I've gotten to resolve in adulthood. So the Constructicons I got, it turned out they were knockoffs, and they were really, I didn't know they were knockoffs. They looked exactly like their real thing, like they were in the package. They had the backing boards, had the Hasbro logo, everything. Like they looked completely legitimate, and I only found out after the fact that they were copies. And so, when I was putting them together and putting on the stickers didn't quite fit right. The instructions were weird. The robots didn't quite fit together as well as I'd like. So, which was why I, made the effort to buy what I thought was like a legitimate one. I didn't want to take any chances. I wanted to have get that full experience. So then I saw this in the store and sort of passed it up a couple times, but it was on my mind, and so eventually I came back. To Target and grabbed one. I kind of pictured myself, 5 or 6 years from now being like, oh man, that thing's not around anymore. It's the price is way up on the secondary market. Yeah, I should have gotten it when I had the chance. So I picked it up, and sort of the added incentive. So I have my Devastator that's green and stuff, and he's a Decepticon. An added bonus was that it's sort of like a crossover. It's Transformers crossover with Tonka, and so it's got the Tonka logo, and the trucks are yellow and stuff. And so it's kind of cool. Since I worked on GoBots and Transformers, Tonka was the company that put out the GoBots. So it felt like a sort of coming together of these two threads. So it was almost like a keepsake from my time working on both of those properties. And I just liked the idea. Tonka, when I was working on GoBots, I was thinking of sort of titling it Tonka's GoBots. Just the Tonka name, it has like a mystique to it, a nostalgia. Just it's got bona fides. It feels legit. It's like kind of, that first toy truck that your dad had or your older brother or sister had, and it just feels, those feel like real toys. And if you ever, had one of those like old Tonka trucks that got passed down, they're all, they're all like rusty and hard metal, probably made out of lead, who knows. So just kind of combining that with sort of the Transformers brand had an appeal. I don't know why they didn't add GoBot branding to this too. Since you got Tonka, why not go all out and brand it as like a Tonka Transformers and GoBots crossover. Tonka didn't invent all those GoBot toys. That those were Bandai toys that were brought over. But that's not how I encountered them as a kid. I encountered the GoBots as sort of the next phase for Tonka trucks. This was the next phase of evolution for where the whole Tonka thing was leading. Almost like those Tonka trucks from years past had become sentient and became robots. In my research for working on Transformers, I ended up delving into sort of the history of the toys of Microman or Microman, which became Diaclone and Microchange, and then became Transformers. And I watched a lot of the old commercials and, read a lot about them and used some of that information for Transformers versus G.I. Joe. And So it's also kind of cool because the original Diaclone Constructicons, I think they were called, Construction Robo or something like that. They were mostly yellow like this, the sort of color that like construction equipment would have been in the 80s. And they were good guys, not bad guys. They were heroic, which makes sense. It makes sense that, these machines that are made to build and construct would be good guys. That's the beneficial thing. And they made Transformers, and they made the Construction Robo, when they made them into the Constructicons and turned into Devastator and made them into, this bad guy. That was kind of intriguing too. These things that you would associate with building and construction were being used for destruction. It was kind of like an interesting inversion, and again adds to the mystique that these bad guys are called Constructicons. But then, of course, the robot they turn into is called Devastator. You encounter these things at the right age. If you encounter these things when you're young enough, when your mind is open enough, you imbue them with like a mystery, a mystique, a profoundness that makes them sort of resonate for you in a way that, had I encountered these things as an adult, I might have been, just more dismissive of them, or it might not have registered at all. And so this is not Devastator. It's the same molds as Devastator and the Constructicons, but this is Tonkanator. I feel like they could have come up with a better name than that, but okay. And he's an Autobot. He's not a Decepticon. He's a good guy. So we're bringing the Constructicons back to their origins. So let me just go ahead and open this up. So let's see. It says 8+. I'm in that demographic. I am over 8. So yeah, let's crack this open. Oh, I like the way it's packed. It kind of it's got the Transformers branding and dress on it, and it's got this old school painting. There's this painting, and then there was like a previous painting on like the earlier wave of Transformers that I would just kind of, as a kid, I would just kind of study and like imagine the story behind these battles, which again ended up being practice for my eventual career. So yeah, we got his stats here and instructions how to put them together, and then here's the sort of the idea behind it. I guess the getting some mileage out of their Tonka brand by crossing it with the Transformers brand. But I like the packing. It's kind of reminiscent of I've been getting these. Some of these like new Diaclones. They've been, past few years, they've been putting out like a new iteration of Diaclone. And since, the original Diaclone toys are kind of expensive and hard to get your hands on, I've been kind of enjoying getting the new Diaclones, which are, they're state of the art. They're extremely well-engineered, well-designed toys, really amazing. And they come in this kind of packing too, this kind of clear plastic with these little inset bubbles for all the different pieces. So I like this. We've got the instructions. Oh, okay, we have the decals. I was wondering if I was gonna have to put these stickers on, because that was one of the downsides of the sort of knockoff Constructicons that I had gotten, was these stickers. The stickers weren't cut properly. They didn't fit on properly. So it was a little bit of a bummer. I'm gonna have to put these stickers on. Hopefully, I'll get to see sort of the difference between a knockoff and like the genuine article. And so we'll see if the sort of shoddy manufacturer is just the way things are made now, or if the shoddy manufacturer was just limited to those knockoffs. And so we got the instructions how to put it together. And yeah, the knockoffs that I got, the instructions were sort of incomplete, misleading, incorrect. So this looks like it tells you everything you need to know. I wonder if it tells you, because the vehicles also have sort of like a secondary mode where you can take some of these like extra pieces and make sort of like attack vehicles. Okay, it looks like they do. They do have instructions for how to do that stuff too. So yeah, pretty complete, well put together. It is interesting seeing what I think of as Devastator with, Autobot markings on it. And yeah, the stickers look higher quality than the stickers I had on my Devastator. They're kind of you know, it's more metallic, you know, more like very reflective, more of like a genuine metal. And yeah, the one I had, like, the hands didn't quite launch correctly. These launch, I mean, they feel well put together. The plastic is nice, has a nice nice quality to it. I like in robot toys, I like the plastic and like when you change them, when you twist them. I like when it has, the plastic has like a musical quality to it, and that's something that that I think Bandai does better than Takara. You know, the sort of the modern Transformers, the way they go together is very interesting, very complex, almost like a Rubik's Cube. But the sound that they make, the clicks and things, and the plastic, it doesn't ring and reverberate the way like a Bandai toy does, like one of like the DX mechas, you know, the sort of the Megazords, the Japanese Megazords that Bandai makes. They have this great musical quality. That's sort of like an extra detail that they do that I feel like Takara doesn't really, you know, feel the need to incorporate. But this I like the quality to, you know, this has like a nice sound quality to it. Yeah, this, like that kind of plastic, that kind of yeah. So already, I mean, the quality is a lot higher than the Devastator that I have. And yeah, that. See, on the knockoffs, like all this stuff, it didn't. Some of it I had to like file. There were like extra bits of plastic I had to file off and stuff. And before I realized it was a knockoff, I was kind of like, "What's going on?" Like you know, this is kind of a crappy toy, but now I get it. But this, yeah, this is really nicely made, nicely put together. And yeah, you can feel it. It clicks into place nicely. Yeah, this is a huge improvement. Okay, I broke the plastic a little bit, but I'm not big on saving this kind of stuff. Yeah, that thing spins really good. I know some of these Constructicons, like the original version, would have like metal parts, you know, for certain things. Like I know this guy had some metal parts. I don't know if these new ones have metal too. Yeah, that's metal. That's metal. There's certain parts that you can't get away with using plastic. Okay, yeah, this moves. Okay, and that slides out. That was another thing. The knockoff one I had, this part wouldn't slide out. So this is all good to know. It's good to know. Like it would just sort of stay like that. You couldn't slide it out. I think there's another one of these that has some metal in it too, but I know this one did. Yeah, and that's nice how that goes. Okay, I like that click. Anytime there's a click, that's always fun. Yeah, see, this part's metal. I don't know that was metal on the knockoff one. Yeah, let's see. Let's at least transform one of them into a robot. See if I still got it. This guy. Oh yeah, the feet. I remember it. Yeah, on the knockoff one, the feet fell off like almost immediately. Yeah, it feels well put together. Yeah, I'm happy with this purchase. This guy. I had the Gobot version of this guy when I was a kid. I think it was called Dozer. There was Dozer, and Dumper was the dump truck. That was one thing. Like, I don't think the quality of Gobots is any less than the quality of Transformers. I think they're just like the mini Transformers. I thought weren't as nice as the mini Gobots, but where the thing that was ultimately the undoing of the Gobots was just they didn't invest in the story the way Hasbro did with Transformers. They kind of had the foresight and the sense to know that, like, let's get Marvel involved. Let's let those guys. Let's get some experts to put together our storyline, because if you're left to your own device, if you don't, the storyline's what killed Gobots. I loved Gobots as a kid until I saw the first episode of the show, and it was like, oh, what is this? Whereas Transformers became kind of like the modern mythology of my childhood. Yeah, this part's tricky. There we go. And then yeah, he clicks back into place there. Oh, yeah, it's got like a spring-loaded thing going, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so there you have it. I'm not gonna put Devastator or Tonkanator together right now, but I just kind of wanted to take this out of the package, take a quick look at it before I start putting these decals on there. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, fantastic $4,000 design, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, and Gobots. And thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Here's an addendum to this video. I put the decals on, just comparing it to my previous experience with a Devastator, a knockoff Devastator, one that was pretty well done, and the details were really good. But when you built Devastator, it just didn't hold together very well. I had to file some plastic off, and it just never. It was flimsy. It would fall apart easily, like into its component parts. It was just a big disappointment. And I wondered, is this just how Devastator is? Like, was it this thing that I had sort of built up in my mind all these years as a child, and when decades later I was finally able to put one together? Is it just like that's just the nature of these things? It's just not a well put together toy, and most kids never found out because it was kind of an elusive purchase. You maybe got like one or two Constructicons, but very few kids got all of them. Matt, the co-host of the Total Recall show, said that he brought. When he was a kid, he had Devastator, and he brought it to a funeral. And what would it be like holding this sort of flimsy toy? Like, I'd imagine a kid holding this flimsy toy would fall apart immediately. It might have fallen in the casket or something. But putting together this officially sanctioned, legitimate Hasbro combining construction robot, this sort of Autobot repainted Devastator, Tonkanator, as he's called. The toy just, it fit together much better. It's more sturdy. When you build the Devastator or Tonkanator Gestalt form, it's not flimsy. It doesn't fall apart. It is like, it is like a legit robot. It doesn't go together as elegantly or satisfying a way as like a Megazord would, like a one of like the Bandai DX mecha. It doesn't quite have the perfect fit. The sort of music of the snapping together isn't quite there, but it's still it's pretty solid. Like it's it's way better than the knockoff. I mean, I would not recommend getting a knockoff. I mean, I got my knockoff version accidentally. I thought I was buying a real one, but you know, sort of found out after the fact that it wasn't real. So yeah, pretty happy with the purchase. It was nice to get a do-over of my negative experience with Devastator, with the knockoff Devastator. It was nice to have sort of a do-over with the real thing, and you know, it's rare in life you get second chances. I'll see you next time.